Chapters 1 through 6 of the Book of Ezekiel from the Holy Bible in Modern English, translated by Ferrar Fenton. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Mark Penfold. Chapter 1. It was in the 34th year in the 5th month, when I was amongst the captives located by the great river, the skies opened, and I saw some visions from God. It was in the 5th month of the 5th year of the transportation of King Jehoiakim that the command of the ever-living came to Ezekiel ben Buzi the priest in the country of the Kasdim by the great river, that the hand of the ever-living came there upon him. Then I looked, and saw a raging wind from the north driving a great cloud, and whirling fire flashing around it, with the gleam of polished brass in the center of the fire. There were representations of 4 beings in the center, and those beings had the appearance of human forms, but each had 4 faces, and each had 4 pair of wings. Their feet, however, were perpendicular, and the soles of their feet like the feet of a calf, but sparkling like the glitter of bright brass. They also had arms like a man under their wings, at their 4 sides, and their faces and pairs of wings were 4. These wings were attached together at the sockets. The men did not face about when they advanced, they went straight before each face. The form of one face was like that of a man, but the 4 had the face of a lion on the right side, and the 4 had the face of an ox on the left side, and the 4 had the face of an eagle. Their faces were thus. When ascending they spread their wings. Each had a couple of wings attached together. But 2 covered their bodies, and each in advancing went straight before himself. To whatever point the wind proceeded, they went. They never turned face for their journey. And with the beings, forms appeared, like burning coals of fire, like the appearance of lamps, who marched amongst the beings with sparkling fire, and lightnings shot from the fire. The beings also ran and danced like lightning. So I watched the beings, and saw a wheel on the earth at the side of the beings, at each of their faces. The appearance of these wheels and their substance was like the gleam of amber. The form of all 4, their appearance and substance, was as if a wheel were within a wheel. In advancing they advanced towards the 4 quarters, without facing about to advance, and they had rims to them. And it seemed these rims were full of eyes, round all 4 of them. And when the beings advanced, the wheels advanced at their side, and when the beings ascended from the earth, the wheels ascended. Wherever the wind decided to go, they went wherever the wind went, and the wheels ascended with them, for the wind enlivened the wheels. On its advancing, they advanced. On its standing, they stood, for the wind enlivened the wheels. An appearance was above the beings like sparkling ice extended high up over their heads, and beneath this expansion they spread their wings in association. Each had 2 to cover their bodies with on one side, and each had 2 to cover the other side. And I heard the sound of their wings like the sound of many waters, like the sound of waterfalls when they advanced, the sound of a storm of rain, like the sound of a camp. When they stood still, they drooped their wings. When a voice came from above the expanse over their heads, standing they drooped their wings. Above the expanse that was over their heads there was an appearance like a sapphire stone formed into a throne, and upon that form of a throne like the appearance of a man sitting upon it. I also saw a sparkle like amber, and an appearance like the appearance of a fire enclosed him, with a similar appearance from his waist upwards, and a similar appearance below his waist. I saw it like the appearance of fire, and it gleamed around him, like the appearance of the bow that comes in the clouds when it rains. That was the appearance which gleamed around. The appearance of the form was a living glory. And when I saw it, I fell on my face, and heard a commanding voice. Chapter 2. Which said to me, Son of Adam, stand on your feet, and I will speak to you. And breath came to me as he spoke, and I stood on my feet and listened to his command, as he said to me, Son of Adam, I will send you to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation who have rebelled against me. They and their ancestors have revolted from me to this very day. They are hard-faced and stiff-hearted lads to whom I send you. Therefore you must say, Thus says the Almighty Lord, whether they listen or refuse, for they are a rebellious family, yet will know that a preacher has come to them. So, son of Adam, fear them not or their threats, although you are among briars and thorns, and live amongst scorpions. Fear not their threats, nor be depressed by their faces, for they are a rebellious family, but proclaim my message to them, whether they listen or refuse, for they are a rebellious family. You, however, son of Adam, listen to what I say to you. Be not rebellious, like that rebellious family. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. Then I looked and saw a hand approach me, with a roll book in it, and it spread it before me, and it was written on the front and the back, and the writing was about wailing, and lamentation, and woe. Chapter 3. Then he said to me, Son of Adam, eat what you have found, eat this volume, and go and speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he made me eat that volume. Then he said to me, Son of Adam, let your belly eat, and fill your stomach with that volume which I have given you. I consequently ate it, and it was as sweet as honey to my mouth. He afterwards said to me, Son of Adam, go, approach the house of Israel, and report my message to them. For I do not send you to a people of deep lips and heavy tongue, but to the house of Israel, not to many nations of deep lip and heavy tongue, whose language you could not understand if I sent you to them. They might listen to you, but the house of Israel will not be desirous to listen to you, for they are not willing to listen to me, for all the house of Israel are hard-browed and stiff-hearted. However, I will give you a bold face against their faces, and a bold brow against their brows. As a diamond is harder than flint, I have made your brow. Fear not, nor submit to them, for they are a rebellious family. He also said to me, Son of Adam, take all the commands I entrust to you to your heart, and listen with your ears, and go, approach to the captivity of the children of your people, and address them, and say, Thus says the Almighty Lord, whether they listen or whether they refuse. Then the wind carried me along, and I heard behind me a great rushing sound, proceeding from the dwelling of the mighty Lord, and the sound of the wings of the beings clapping one against the other, and the sound of the wheels accompanying them, and the sound of a great rushing. So the wind took me up and seized me, and I went better, in heat of my breath, and the hand of the ever-living was strongly upon me. Thus I was brought to the transports of Tel Abib, who were settled by the great river, and who resided there, and I stayed there 7 days amongst them in a stupor. But at the end of the 7 days, the command of the ever-living came to me to say, Son of Adam, I have placed you as a watchman for the house of Israel. Therefore, listen to a message from my mouth, and instruct them from me. When I say to the wicked, You shall die, and you do not inform him, or do not speak to the wicked to warn him from his evil way, to revive him, the wicked will die in his wickedness, but I will seek his blood on your hand. But if you warn the wicked, and he does not turn from his wickedness and from his evil way, the wicked shall die in his sin, but you will have redeemed your soul. And when a good man abandons right and does wrong, when I reprove him openly, he shall die. He will die if you have not warned him of his sin, for the right that he did will not be remembered. But I will seek his blood on your hand. But if you warn the good not to sin, and he ceases from sin, he will live if he took warning, and you will have redeemed your soul. The hand of the ever-living came upon me again, and he said, Arise, go out to the valley, and I will speak to you there. So I arose and went out to the valley, and saw the divine splendor standing there, like the splendor that I saw by the great river, and I fell upon my face. Then breath came to me, and I raised myself upon my feet, and he spoke to me and said, Go, shut yourself in your house. But, son of Adam, they will put ropes and chains upon you, so that you may not go out amongst them. I also will fix your tongue to your palate, and make you dumb, so that you cannot be a reprover of them, for they are a rebellious family. But when I speak to you, I will open your mouth, when you must say to them, Thus says the mighty Lord, Listen and faint, for they are a rebellious family. Chapter 4. So now, son of Adam, take a tile, and place it before you, and draw upon it the city of Jerusalem, and portray upon it a siege, and build a rampart against it, heap up an embankment against it, and represent camps against it, and place battering rams around it. Then take an iron plate, and make of it a wall of iron between you and the city, and fix your face towards it, and let it be a siege, and besiege it. That shall be a sign to the house of Israel. You must also lie on your left side, and place the frailties of the house of Israel upon it. For the number of days that you lie upon it, you shall carry the frailties of the house of Israel. For I have laid upon you the years of their frailty, by the number of the days, 390 days, during which you shall carry the frailty of Israel. But when you have accomplished these, then you shall lie upon your right side again, and bear the frailty of the house of Judah for 40 days, a day for a year, a day for a year, I have laid upon you. Then set before you the siege of Jerusalem, and strip your arm, and preach against it. So look, I will put bonds on you, and you shall not turn from side to side until the time of the siege is completed. Also take wheat, and barley, and beans, and lentils, and spilt, and millet, and put them into the same dish, and make bread of them for yourself. For the prescribed period that you are to be on your side, you shall eat it for 390 days. You must eat it by weight of 10 shekels a day. Eat it from time to time. Also drink your water by measure, the 1/6 part of a hin. Drink it from time to time. Eat it like barley cakes, and bake them with human dung in their sight. And the Lord added, The children of Israel shall eat their bread defiled like that by the heathen to whom I drive them. But I replied, O mighty Lord, look at my life. I have not defiled myself, nor have I ever eaten a dead carcass, or one that has been torn from my youth until now, nor has foul food entered my mouth. However, he answered me, Look, I will appoint cow dung instead of human dung, so prepare your food with that. Then he said to me, Son of Adam, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and in dread, and drink by measure and measure, because they shall be destitute of bread and water, and each suspect his brother, and waste away in their sin. Chapter 5. Also, son of Adam, take a sharp sword to apply to yourself as a barber's razor, and pass it over your head and over your beard. Then take a weighing scales, and divide them. Burn a 1/3 part in a fire in the middle of the city, when the time of the siege is completed. Then take a 1/3 part, and chop about it with the sword, and scatter that 1/3 part to the wind, and I will fling the sword after them. But you must reserve a small number of them, and put them in your pocket. However, you must take some, and throw them into the fire, and burn them in the fire, when a flame shall spring from them against all the house of Israel. Then the mighty Lord said, I have set this Jerusalem in the center of the heathen with countries around her. But she perverted my decrees to wrong more than the heathen, and my institutions more than the countries who are around her. For she rejected my decrees, and would not follow my institutions. Therefore, thus the mighty Lord says, Because you rage against my institutions more than the heathen around you by not following them, and have not practiced my decrees, but have acted according to the decrees of the heathen around you, therefore, the mighty Lord says this, I am opposed to you, I myself, and I will execute amongst you my own decrees in the sight of the heathen. For I will effect upon you what I have not done, and what I will never do again like it, because of all your depravities. Therefore parents shall eat their children amongst you, and children will eat their parents. And when I have done justice on you, I will scatter all the remnant of you to the wind. So by my own life, says the mighty Lord, because you have polluted my sanctuary with all your filth, and with all your depravities, I also will avert myself, and my eye will not pity, and I will not spare. 1/3 of you shall die by plague and famine consuming among you, and 1/3 will fall by the sword around you, and I will scatter 1/3 to every wind, and fling a sword after them. Then my anger will be completed, and my wrath satisfied upon them, and I will rest, and they will recognize that I, the ever-living, have spoken in my zeal, to accomplish my indignation upon them. I will also make you a heap of ashes and a scorn to the heathen around you, to the eyes of every passer-by. And you shall become a scorn and an insulting proverb, and an astonishment to the heathen about you, when I have executed upon you the decrees of my anger and indignation, and these reproofs. I, the ever-living, have said it. And when I send the cruel arrows of famine upon you, which bring destruction to those to whom I send them, and increase famine among you, and break your staff of bread, for I will send famine upon you, and savage beasts who will bereave you, and plague and bloodshed shall pass through you. I will also bring a sword against you. I, the ever-living, have said it. Chapter 6. The command of the ever-living came to me afterwards to say, Son of Adam, set your face against the mountains of Israel, and preach to them, and say, Mountains of Israel, listen to the words of the mighty Lord. Thus says the mighty Lord to the mountains and hills, to the torrents and valleys, I myself will bring a sword against you, and reduce your peaks, and desolate your altars, and shatter your pillars, and throw down your slain before your idols, and lay the corpses of the children of Israel before their idols, and scatter their bones about their altars. All your inhabited villages shall be ashes, and your columns shall be desolate, so that your altars may be reduced to ashes, and be desolated, and shattered, and your idols shivered, and your sun pillar cut down, and your fabrications be blotted out, and your wounded shall fall amongst you, and you recognize that I am the Lord. However, you shall have a remnant who will escape from the sword, scattered amongst the lands of the heathen. And those fugitives will remember me among the heathen where they reside, when I have broken their whore-like heart, which turned from me, and their whore-like eyes from following their idols, and will turn their attention to the wrongs they committed in all their depravities. Then they will recognize that I am the Lord. I have not lightly threatened to inflict all these miseries upon them. Then the ever-living said, Clap your hands, and stamp your feet, and exclaim, Alas, for all the sins that the house of Israel has sinned, which will overthrow them by the sword, and famine, and plague. Those afar will die by disease, and those near will fall by the sword, and the remainder and the besieged will die by famine, when my indignation will be satisfied on them. You will then know that I am the ever-living, when your wounded are among your idols, around your altars, on every high hill, on every mountain-top, and under every leafy tree, and under every shady oak, the places where they appointed to diffuse perfumes to their idols. But I will extend my hand over them, and make their country desolate, more desolate than the desert of Diblah, in all their villages, when they will learn that I am the ever-living. The end of chapters 1 through 6. Recording by Mark Penfold.